Hello, good morning. Welcome to the third video of the Business Mindset Manual. I am so super stoked to be talking to you all today because today we are talking about your customers, aka your target market. I'm super excited. This is one of my favorite things to talk about. I remember in my business when I finally shifted my mindset to really understanding who I was selling to, who I was serving, how I was supporting them, and all that jazz. And it literally, if I could say that there was one thing that made the difference for me as a business owner and someone who has consistent income month to month via running my own company, I would have to say hands down, it was me getting clear about who my customers are and my target market. So if you guys are interested in that, I highly encourage you all to keep watching. My name is Stacey Flowers. And I make a living talking. I literally get to travel around the country, inspiring people to create real, authentic, fulfilled, happy lives with my personal growth and development company. My average income is about $5,000 and I run my company part-time. I'm mentioning these things because the Business Mindset Manual is something that I'm offering to you all as something that you can purchase so that you can shift your business mindset. And I think it's important that, like, as someone who's offering business wisdom, business advice, that there are clear sort of like receipts or fruits from my own life of like the philosophies that I'm sharing and how they're working. And I think one of the major things that I've been able to do that a lot of people who have companies now haven't been able to do, and I attribute it 1,000% to my mindset, is that like I've managed to make a full-time impact and a full-time income while running my company part-time. And I hands down believe without a shadow of a doubt that is because I shifted my business mindset and I shifted the concepts that I've been going over the last few days. Like I've shifted into a space of truly being able to understand those things and appreciate those things in such a way that, like, when I'm doing things as a whole entire business owner, I'm doing them as a business and not just as a person who happens to own a company. And I think that it's amazing that I've been able to generate full-time income working part-time hours. I think that it's amazing that I've literally been able to create a lifestyle that I'm incredibly proud of. And between my coaching clients and you all here in the community demanding and asking the questions, how, I came up with the Business Mindset Manual to sort of put all of that together so that that way, if that's something that you want, even if it's not to do or run a company part-time, but it's just to sort of actually create a business that generates consistent income, to actually create a business that's meaningful, even if that's something that you dream of or something that you want. I want to be able to offer you the resource that I wish that I had when I was first starting building legitimate companies. And I say legitimate because the first company that I ever had was not legitimate. It did not have a tax ID. I didn't do all of the things that I was supposed to do. I was a little hairstylist. My company was called Styles by Stacey. And I used to do hair and I used to make really cute money. I say cute money because, like, now in hindsight, like, I made good money because I was like 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 years old. But in comparison to the money that I'm making now, it's a totally different thing. But I realized, like, my history with being an entrepreneur, I want to look up the definition of serial entrepreneur because I'm probably a serial entrepreneur and I've just never used that language. But I don't know if serial entrepreneur is based on profit or is based on number of businesses that you started. But I would say legitimate companies that I've had in my lifetime so far. I've had 5 legitimate companies with a registered tax ID number with the United States government. And my first legitimate company was a boutique HR consulting firm where I designed and delivered training programs for Fortune 500 companies. And this was a fabulous, fantastic, amazing company to have. Like, I made so much money. I was very, very fortunate to link up with a larger organization that sort of gave me a built-in customer-based target market. And I really, really enjoyed that work. I transitioned from my boutique HR consulting firm into a speaking business. That was phenomenal. While I had my speaking business, I opened a bit of a publishing company, realized I don't want to be in publishing, but still I had opened that, closed that shortly thereafter. And then, you know, since then I've opened up other consulting firms and whatnot. But the point of the matter is I've been doing legitimate business running for 10 years. And it has only been in the last 2 years of the company that I've just recently built that I feel like that I've actually mastered enough concepts about business where I have done the work of freeing myself financially and freeing my company financially. And when I say freeing, I mean that, like, I generate consistent income each month, and I built a business that I'm incredibly proud of, and my business is not running me ragged. That's what I mean by freeing myself. You all know personally I still have debt, but it's been a blessing that my company is making so much money that I'm able to pay myself a salary that enables me to be able to consistently pay really good chunks of my money towards paying off all my debt. But I digress a little bit on that. But I say that to say, for 10 years, I've been doing this, and I've made a lot of mistakes, and some things I stumbled upon just because I just sort of had the favor of stumbling upon it. But distilling that into takeaways for you guys in this business mindset manual has been something that I've just been really, really enjoying. And now we finally get to talk about what I think is one of the hearts of business. You know, yesterday we talked about the purpose of business, and I think that it's important to distinguish the purpose of a business from the heart of a business. And the reason why I say earning money is the purpose of business is because that is definitively what a business is. It is an entity that generates income. That is what a business is. And until you can wrap your mind around that, you are going to have great, great challenges moving out of the feast to famine cycle, or even building a meaningful business, because one of the things that you're going to need to build a business is time. And one of the ways that you get time is you got to buy that time back, because otherwise you owe time for all of these other things. It's another topic that we'll talk about another time, but it is just something that I want to bring to you guys' attention. But today we get to talk about the heart of the business, and what I think the heart of everybody's company. Oh man, I don't know why I'm getting emotional. Let me run it back. Whoa, okay. Hold on, give me a second. I just got a little bit emotional there just thinking about what I was about to say. Okay, what I think the heart of everyone's business is their customers. I think the heart of your business is the person that you will serve. And I think one of the reasons that I wanted the business mindset manual to focus on people who want to build a meaningful business is because, in my opinion, when you're building a meaningful business, your customers are the heart of your company. Your target market is the heart of the company. I mean, it's literally the person that you get to say, hey, I've created this solution to this problem. And it's basically you saying, like, I've been listening to you. Like, I heard you when you said that this was irritating you or this was bothering you, and I created this thing, and now I have it for you. Would you like to buy it? Like, I just think that, like, that is the most incredible thing in all the land, to be able to look out into the world and say, I see you and I hear you, and I created this solution for you, so here you go. And so that's why I think it's the heart of your business. Like, I think that without a customer base, again, you're likely not in business. And truly, I don't care who your customers are, but whomever they are, in my opinion, they're the heart. And I think shifting your business mindset to understanding that the purpose of your business is to earn, but the heart, the thing that keeps your business beating, are those customers that you get to have. I think it dramatically improves your ability to be able to charge what your products and services are worth, and also be able to interact and engage with your customers in such a way that your business grows, and it eventually frees you to be able to do the thing that you truly and wholly want to do. So love talking about this side. Some of you guys don't know, my background is in human resources, and like the tagline or the thing that people say sometimes about human, it's like the human side of business. So like, my favorite aspect of business is actually this part. Like, I know it seems like my favorite part is the money. I do enjoy the money, but it's only more prevalent now because, like, I'm working on a financial goal. But like, the part of my business that I really adore is the heart of my business, which is 1,050,000,000% my customers. I love and adore my customers, my prospective customers, my current customers, and my future customers. Like, I love you guys so much, and I'm so grateful to you guys communicating to me clearly what it is that you need from me and allowing me to be able to offer you these things. And I want to support you in understanding how to do that. So your customers, the common language or the common vernacular for customers is your target market. And it's important to make that shift to an understanding that your customers are a part of your target market, and you have to define what your target market is. My definition of a target market, and again, you got to wrap your mind around this. My definition of a target market is the group of people who are willing and able to pay for the business solution that you provide. I'll say it again. Your target market is the group of people who are willing and able to pay for the business solution that you provide. One more time, because it's just that important. The target market is the group of people who are willing and able to pay for the business solution that you provide. Now, I'm going to break those down into 3 critical words that are in that definition. The first critical word is that this is the group of, or willing. That's the first critical word. Second critical word is able. The last critical word is business solution. Now, normally when I'm working with my business coaching clients, because I'm working with them one-on-one, rather than having them conceptualize a group of people, which would ultimately be their customer base, I have them conceptualize one person. I think that that's very effective when you're doing it on your own or when you're doing it with someone that you can talk to. But generally speaking, your target market is a group of people. But for the purposes of the rest of our conversation, I'm going to talk about your target market as if it's one person, and I'll tell you about why that's significant in a minute. But your target market, this person, is willing and able. Let's talk about willing. What does it mean to be willing? If someone is willing to pay for this particular thing that you're offering, that means they want to pay for it. And too many people are picking target markets where people don't want to pay for the thing that they're offering. And we'll go into more detail about that. But there's a difference between being willing and able to pay. For example, I'm willing to pay for college because I value education. I'm willing to do it. At the time when I started college, the only reason why I was able to pay for college was because I had had a son, and on my first day of college classes, my son was 3.5 weeks old. And so based on like how you fill out your FAFSA or whatever, I was able to fill out my FAFSA as an adult, like as an emancipated adult almost, instead of having to have my parents' income and my parents' credit score be the rationale for me getting student loans. Because I was a parent, and I don't know if this is still here now because it's like 17 years later, but the point of the matter is because I was a parent, I basically was able to file my FAFSA independently, which enabled me to sign for my own student loans. And I'm bringing that up to say that I was willing to pay for college, but technically, had I not been in that very unique situation, I wouldn't have been able to pay for college. Excuse me. So like if my parents had to co-sign my loans, they were not in a position to co-sign my loans. If I, excuse me, if I had to base anything on my parents, I wouldn't have been able to pay for college. College was the business solution that they were offering. So that willingness and that able is really, really important, because oftentimes what new business owners, aspiring entrepreneurs will do is they'll be like, oh my God, I created this super amazing thing and I know these people are willing to pay for it, you know, blah, blah, blah. They're willing. And it's just like being willing, which is basically wanting, and being able are two different things. In a good target market, the people in that target market are both willing and able. Now, sometimes we have people who are able to pay for it, but they're not willing because they don't want the thing that you're offering. And that's important too. I need you guys to wrap your mind around that. Some of you guys are failing to serve customers, make consistent income, and have a meaningful business because you are selecting a group of people who are not able to pay what it is that you're offering, or you're selecting a group of people who are not willing to pay for the thing that you're offering. And this is a little bit of the reason why when I'm talking to people, I have you set your prices first before you even talk about your target market, because one of the things that happens is if people don't have a healthy money mindset, they will pick a target market that they think is willing, that they think is able, and then they'll set a price that doesn't even make any sense for that target market. So another example from my own life, you guys know that I have the Money Mindset Manual. When I launched the Money Mindset Manual pre-order, I launched it at $27. There's a reason why I set that at $27, and it had nothing to do with, oh, it's not valuable, I don't know if people will pay for this. Like, I didn't have any of those issues. I said, how much money do I want to make divided by how many people do I want to serve? That's how I set the price for the Money Mindset Manual. Then when I evaluated the target market for the Money Mindset Manual, I said the target market for the Money Mindset Manual, they are willing to pay this amount for a manual that's designed to shift their mindset, excuse me. They are able to pay this amount for a manual that's designed to shift their mindset. I understood that, first of all, this price point is going to serve my revenue goals as a business owner, but Two, after that, I looked at my target market and said, yes, they are willing and yes, they are able. And many of you guys just need that checks and balance because you're creating these things and then you're picking a target market that's a bad target market for the thing that you created. And you have to be willing as a business owner to rise to the occasion of your target market. Another really good example is aspiring speakers who come to me and they want to speak to the youth market and they think, oh, I'm going to write a book and I'm going to, have t-shirts and I'm going to have all these different things that youth will be able to buy at my events. And it's just like, first of all, in high school, even though millennials have a higher buying power than ever before, Generation Z, which is the generation that you will be talking to if you're talking to high school students, they're not coming to class with $100 to spend on t-shirts and books. So you may be in the youth market thinking that like writing a book and charging $20 for your book makes sense, but when you go to do your event, they're not in a position to buy any of your products. That is because your target market is not a good target market because it's not willing and it's not able. Maybe it's willing because it wants to, but it's not able because that kid still has to go back to their parent to ask their parent for the money to be able to purchase this thing from you. And so it's like, it's important first for you mentally to allow yourself to shift to a space from yesterday to set the price for the thing that you want to sell, and then come over when you're selecting your target market and make sure you're picking the group of people who are both willing and then the people who are able. That is the first component to shifting your business mindset, is that my target market has to be willing and has to be able. It is not enough that they're willing. It is not enough that they want to. They have to be able. Louis Vuitton, when he set his prices for Louis, I don't know. When the prices were set for Louis Vuitton shoes, red bottom shoes, right? He's like, the average price for my shoe is going to be $1,000. He was not then like, and you know who I'm going to target? I'm going to target teachers, high school teachers. You want to know why he's not targeting high school teachers with his sales of Louis Vuitton shoes? First of all, because teachers, their average salary is, I'm making this number up, about $50,000. Somebody who's making $50,000 a year is not in Louis Vuitton's target market, because Louis Vuitton is selling a shoe that averages $1,000. So even though a teacher would be willing possibly to buy a Louis Vuitton shoe, she's not able to do that because it's outside of her price range. But do you think Louis Vuitton is sitting around like, man, I really need to make a shoe that this teacher can buy? No, because that teacher is not a good target market for the price point that this shoe company set. DSW, however, has decided that they want to have teachers in there, and I'm just making this up. This is just me making it up. DSW has decided, I want to have teachers in my target market, and because DSW wants to have teachers in their target market, their price range for a pump is anywhere from $49.99 all the way up to $249. I don't know if you can get a shoe that costs more than $250 at DSW. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think you can. But DSW knows, well, if teachers are in my target market, not only are they willing because they want nice shoes, but they're also able, because if they make $50,000 a year, they have enough disposable income to spend about anywhere from $50 to $250 on a pair of shoes. But that is you being crystal clear on the price of whatever it is that you're selling, and then checking it against, is this group of people willing? Is this group of people able? They're the first two critical things in terms of your target market. The third critical thing in terms of your target market is that it is offering, they're willing and able to pay for a business solution. This is the part that's critical. The business solution that you provide. And remember, we talked a little bit about this yesterday. Like, you are not selling people an hour of coaching. You are not selling people a business mindset manual. You are selling people a solution. And to have a good target market, to know who your customers are, they have to be willing, they have to be able to pay for the solution that you provide. So for example, there is a target market that I have for the Money Mindset Manual. Those people are willing and able to pay for the business solution, a Money Mindset Manual, at that particular price. The Business Mindset Manual target market is different than the Money Mindset Manual target market. That is reflected in the price. That's also reflected in the content that I'm providing for them, right? But everybody who purchases the Business Mindset Manual, they are a part of the group of people who are willing and able to pay for the business solution called the Business Mindset Manual. And too many people are out here creating products and services that are not solutions. They're just nice things that they wanted to create. You know what I would love to be able to create? I would love to be able to create a journal, like a beautiful journal, like I love journaling. I would love to be able to create it, and I would love to be able to provide that to my customer base. I would love to be able to provide that to a particular target market. The reason why a journal isn't a good business solution for me right now in terms of my company is, one, because nobody in my customer base is demanding a journal from me. So I like to create things that people are demanding. That's how I ultimately ensure sales. But nobody's demanding a journal from me right now. But also, people are not willing and able to pay for that type of a business solution for me right now, because in order for me to produce that and be profitable, I would have to charge you guys like $40 to $50 for a journal just because of the production cost. And you guys might be willing in that you want to buy a journal from me because you respect my brand and my business and blah, blah, blah. You may even have $50 in your account, but you don't want a $50 journal from me. You don't want that business solution. Does that, I'm hoping that makes sense. And so when you're doing your target market, it's like these three things are critical. Are they willing? Are they able? Do they want this business solution? Because you can create into your heart's content, but if they don't want that business solution, then this is not the right target market. Creating a journal for a group of people who prefer a manual is not a good business solution, which ultimately means I need to either change my target market or I need to change my business solution. And too many people are out here getting in business not realizing that people don't want their business solution. Even if you're creating a business as an influencer, understanding that your target market is the brand companies that you want to be able to partner with, right? Are they willing and able to pay your influencer fee? Typically they are, just because most companies have a really big budget. But do they want the business solution that you provide? Your business solution could be a dedicated video. It could be a mention in a video. It could be access to your community that you've built. You have to figure out what business solution they're willing and able to pay for. And most people just don't do the work to figure that out. And because you haven't done the work to figure that out, you don't have a good target market. And I make the distinction between a good target market and a bad target market. A bad target market is you just being clear that, like, you talk to Black millennial women who are into fashion, who love eating, and you have all these descriptors about them, but they're a bad target market because they're not willing, meaning they don't want what you have to offer, or they're not able, they can't afford what you're offering, or you're not providing them with a business solution. That is a bad target market. Being clear on who you're talking to, but them not being in a position of willing, able, or business, like, bad target market. And I don't want anybody who's following any of my work to put all this energy and effort into a bad target market when a good target market is available to you. And a good target market is based on, are they willing to pay for the solution? Are they able to pay for the solution? Do you have a solution for them? And if you don't have a solution for them, you don't have a clear target market just yet. And it's fine to continue to do the work. And in the business mindset manual, I take you through the process of sort of like doing the thinking through, okay, well, what does it look like if I choose to work with this group, or I choose to work with this group? I take you through the process of like really distilling that, so that way you can actually select a good target market for yourself. Because one of the reasons I'm able to maintain consistent income is because all of my target markets are good. Every target market I select, they have the buying power and they want my solution. I never, and this is, I mean, probably the biggest mistake that I made in business before, is that I would try to pick these target markets that I really wanted to serve. I would be like, oh my gosh, like I really want to help people who are in this position and yada, yada, yada. But unfortunately, they are not a good target market because they are not able to pay for the business solutions that I provide. And so what I've done now in my business, and one of the things I'm super grateful for because it really deepens my impact, is that I have selected good target markets and cultivated business solutions around good target markets where I earn enough money to serve that group of people for free. So for example, let's just say in my YouTube community, I have 50,000, what are they, subscribers in YouTube? Yeah, let's just say I have 50,000 subscribers, right? If I have 50,000 subscribers in my YouTube community, 50,000 people are not running out to buy the Business Mindset Manual. 50,000 people are not running out to buy the Money Mindset Manual. 50,000 people are not running out to buy my book. 50,000 people are not running out to book me to speak. 50,000 people are not running out to buy any of the things that my company offers, right? But that doesn't mean that I can't serve them, but it means that those 50,000 people are not my target market. They may be a part of my community, but they're not my target market. The people who are my target market are the people who are willing and able to purchase the business solution that I provide. It is the people who convert from being a part of my community to being my customer. But I do a good job of making sure that not only am I serving the people in my community for free, I'm also serving the people who eventually convert into my customers. And too many people confuse their community with their target market, and your community is not your target market. Your target market is buying from you. Your community is not always buying from you, and that is a really, really big distinction, and you have to make sure that you have a good target market. Do you need both in business? I think yes, but which one should you be focusing on in terms of you moving out of the feast to famine cycle? Which one should you be focusing on in terms of building a meaningful business? Your target market. Why? Because your target market is where you generate the revenue. That's where you generate the income, and we know from the first thing in this series that the purpose of business is to earn income. That is the purpose of business. The heart of business is to take care of your customers and figure out your target market. And that's what we're doing now by defining what a target market is and distinguishing that from our customer base. But it's just like most people, they don't think about this when they go into business. They're just like, oh my gosh, I have a great idea. Everybody on the planet is going to buy this. And no one on the planet is going to buy it. No one. Because you're not even, and we're going to talk about sales in a little bit, but you're not selling to them. You're not properly marketing to them, which brings me to my next point about, how to find your customers, ultimately securing your target market, which is that the reason why you need to secure your target market out of your customer base is that you need to know who you're marketing to. And I had mentioned this in a couple of lives ago on my Instagram that you can sell to anyone who will buy, and we'll talk about that in the sales webinar in a little bit, but you market to one person. You market to one person. Whoever that target market person is, that is the person that you're marketing to. You know who I'm not trying to market to right now? I'm not trying to market to anybody who already has a six-figure business that's running in excellence. That's not my target market. That's not my customer base for the Business Mindset Manual. You know who I'm trying to market to right now? That person who has a business idea that they've been trying to get off the ground and they've been dabbling in it. They still have their job. They're wanting to make a transition. That person who wants to make a full-time income and impact on a part-time basis. That person who's tired of hustling. That person who understands that mentally, I need to make a shift in order to make this business work. That is the person that I'm marketing to. And in me marketing to that person, yes, other people who fall outside of that will purchase, but my marketing efforts are very clear to this one. When you are marketing to everyone, you might as well not be marketing to anyone, because you're not being specific in your language. You're not even being helpful in your language, because you're giving this general information that could just serve a general population in a general way, and nobody wants general help. Everyone wants specific help, especially if they're going to invest in it. And the way that, I can't remember if my speaker coach said this or if my current coach said this, but they talk about if you had a cough, you would go to a general doctor. But if you suddenly felt something in your heart and you realize that you had a debilitating heart condition, you don't want to go to a general doctor. You want to go to a heart doctor. And when you guys are offering business solutions to your target market, you need to be marketing from a place of specificity, because people are coming to you for your business solutions because you are specific. But most people don't know how to be specific because they don't want to choose a good target market, and they don't want to choose a good target market because they are confused about the heart of their business. They're confused about the purpose of their business. And if the purpose of your business is to make money, and your target market are the people who are willing and able to pay for your business solution, you have to be willing to pick a good target market. Hands down, you just have to be willing to do it. Which brings me to my third and final point, and this is something that I dive much deeper into in the Business Mindset Manual, is okay, great, Stacey, I understand my customers are the heart of my business. I understand I need to pick a target market, but how do I pick a target market? What I encourage people to do is get 7 layers of specific. That means you need to know 7 critical details about your target market. And I mean, this person needs to be so clear and so specific in your mind that you can name them. They need to be so clear and so specific in your mind that when you see someone and someone is like, oh, is this your target market? You can say yes or no unequivocally. You can say yes or no without hesitation, and most people can't do that. Now, the hard part about going 7 layers deep is that inevitably most aspiring entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs will say, oh, well, I don't want to discriminate. I don't want to exclude anybody. I don't want to, assume that this person doesn't want my stuff. And here's what I say. You can sell to anyone, but you have to market to one person. If there was ever a time for you to be discriminatory or judgmental, it is when you are building your business. And there's so much polarization around the language of don't judge me or don't discriminate. Like, there's so much polarization that we've gotten away from what that basic terminology means. And as a business person, if you are not clear and specific and exclusive about who it is that you're speaking to, you're being judgmental and discriminatory anyway. You're just trying to do it in the super non-judgmental discriminatory way. It's totally fine for you to say that, you know what, I'm going to speak to women. That's fine. You're not making a judgment about men. You're not discriminating against men because you decided to build a business that speaks to women. You're not being discriminatory. You're not being judgmental. You are being clear about your target market, and your mindset about judgment and discrimination is preventing you from getting specific, and you need to shift out of that. And the way that you shift out of that is by allowing yourself to be 7 layers of specific. The way that my coach said it, she was just like, you can be so specific as to say, I want to work with women with red hair and green eyes. Like, that level of specificity is okay. And it's not a bad thing to be that specific, because when you begin to market to a woman who has red hair and green eyes, and you say things like, with red hair, like, I woke up this morning and the sun is shining, I'm super excited because my hair turns, I know your hair is going to turn a little auburn cut. Like, they're going to feel like you're talking directly to them, as opposed to you being so general that you don't even revel at the magnificence of their red hair. Like, I mean, I've never been so specific as to say hair type, and I think she just uses it as an example, but it's just like, be okay with saying I only talk to redheads with green eyes. Like, think about that. That means anybody could be walking anywhere on the street, and if they knew that you ran a company that specifically spoke to redheads with green eyes, every time they see somebody with red hair and green eyes, they would be like, oh my gosh, Stacey has this amazing business solution for you. She literally specifically focuses on women with red hair and green eyes. And that is the level of detail that you want to be able to have in your target market, so that not only are you clear that you're marketing to them, but anybody else who hears about your business is very clear, and it's easy for them to refer them and be like, oh my God, you should listen to Stacey because she's helping people with this. You should listen to Stacey because she specifically works with this person. You should listen to Stacey. Like, your marketing should be so clear that it's easy for people to refer you. And most people's marketing is not clear. Why? Because their target market isn't clear. Their target market isn't clear because they don't want to be specific. They don't want to be specific because they're wearing this paradigm of, oh, if I'm specific, I'm being judgmental and discriminatory. No, if you're being specific, you're being smart, and you're being a whole entire business person. Business people do not make things like this a personal or political issue. They make it a business issue. I need to know if I'm into weight loss, for example, I need to discriminate against people who don't have weight issues. So I need to say, like, a part of my target market is women who are 10 pounds over their natural weight, or women who are 100 pounds over their natural weight. That doesn't mean I don't like people who are at their natural weight or below their natural weight. It just means my business solution can't serve you. And I need to be okay with saying that. And too many of us, because of our business mindset, we are making things that are business political and personal. And it's just like, this is not a political issue. This is not a personal issue. This is a business decision. And this is about you being clear on who you're serving. And until you can unequivocally say who it is that you're serving with confidence, and knowing that it is not about you excluding other people, but it is about you being mindful and thoughtful about the people that you are going to focus your business solutions on for caring for thoughtfully, you are not going to be successful in business. And that was a very hard thing for me to do in the beginning, because, again, I wore the hat of like, oh, who am I to exclude people? Who am I to say that I can't help that person? And the biggest issue for me is that I was so confused between, like, focusing on helping women versus helping women and men. Now, my heart of hearts, I really wanted to help women, but what was happening in my business is men were incredibly attracted to my services and just sort of the way that I organize things. And so men would be, like, probably my most frequent customer over women. And so I was just like, well, I can't talk to women because, men are the ones who are purchasing my products. And what I realized is that, no, men were the ones who were purchasing my products because it was easier for the man to make a decision, because my marketing was so general. But when I just started specifically marketing to women, women felt heard. And when they felt heard, they felt seen. And when they felt seen, they began to like me. And when they began to like me, they began to trust me. And when they began to trust me, they began to invest. So it wasn't that like I couldn't just market to women. I was using the excuse that men were more frequently purchasing as an excuse to not be selective. And you are a business owner. Your job as a business owner is to solve problems. It is to make decisions. It is to be selective. You have to be the one that says, I want this to be red, not green. I want this to be brown, not black. I want this to be here, not. You have to be willing to make those decisions. And if you can't shift your business mindset into making a clear decision about 7 details about the person that you are going to serve with your company, you are not going to be able to build a meaningful business. You are not going to be able to break the feast to famine cycle. And that's what I want for you. I want you to be able to break the feast to famine cycle. I want you to be able to have a whole entire business that means something to you and to the customers that you are designed to serve. And truthfully, like, rather than thinking about all of the people that you're leaving out, think about the comfort and the peace and the happiness and the good feelings that the people that you specifically market to feel. Like, the reviews that I get from the Money Mindset Manual of people being like, you know, Stacey, thank you for finally talking about this. Like, this is how I've always felt, but people just made me feel stupid. People made me feel like I was dumb. People made me feel like that this wasn't a real thing and I was just wasting time. Like, they're thanking me for acknowledging them as a group of people. That's people who've invested in the Business Mindset Manual are literally thanking me for paying attention to them, as opposed to them just continuing to go unnoticed because I'm trying to be this person who's generally helping people. The level of specificity that I had with the Money Mindset Manual generates a thank you for recognizing my specific issues. And you want that for your company. You want that for your business. You want that for the solutions that you're providing for people. And it doesn't matter if you're providing cookies, candles, manuals, books, speeches, coaching. It doesn't matter what you're offering. The specificity that you have in your target market, if the characteristics are 7 layers deep and you have 7 layers of specificity, not only will you be better equipped to speak to your target market, but you will be better equipped to actually offer them the solution that they want. You will be better equipped to make sure that they are willing and able to invest in the business solution that you provide. And that's ultimately what you want. And I tell people all the time when they come to me and they're like, well, you know, I just don't know what to say to people. Like, I think I want to start a YouTube channel. I think I want to open a bakery. I think I want to, you know, start an email list, but I don't know what to say. When you don't know what to say, it's because your target market isn't clear. Because when your target market is clear, you know what to say to them because you know what they're dealing with. You know what they're facing. You know what they're thinking. You know what they're frustrated about. And when you don't know that, it's because your market isn't clear, which means you're probably not 7 layers deep on details. One of the things that was super transformative to me that my coach brought to my attention was that, like, you can set your target market geographically. Like, if I just was like, I just want to, a part of my target market is women in Chicago. I don't know how many people live in Chicago, but I'm pretty sure we're in the millions of people. And a lot of times people will be like, no, my target market, and I mean, don't get me wrong, I do have a target market that's international, but a lot of people will be like, my target market is national. And they want their target market to be national because they think that in it being national, they'll have access to more people. But when they do the breakdown of their numbers, it's like, you only need to reach 150 people this year. Why does it have to be a national target market? Why can't you reach 150 women in Chicago? Like, imagine if you had a coaching business and you were like, I have a life coaching business. It's 150 an hour. If I do 6-week sessions, okay, I have to make these numbers very simple. It's $100 an hour, 6-week session. Each client is $600. 600 times 100 clients is $60,000. So all I need to do is find 100 clients. If you allowed yourself to generate a target market where you said women who live in Chicago, not only does that narrow you down to a specific geographical location, but then you know you can specifically speak to the issues that women in Chicago deal with. Whether you're speaking to their issues of how they have to deal with the weather, you're speaking to their issues of how we're in a very creative community just naturally, speaking to their issues of being a high-paced city that's also in the Midwest. Like, it is very easy to figure out what to say to women who live in Chicago versus trying to figure out what to say to women who live in California and New York. But we don't want to get specific because we think that in order for us to make a ton of money, we have to be national, we have to be international. It's just like, to make the amount of money you want to make, you just need 100 people. You don't think you can find 100 women out of the millions of women who live here in Chicago to invest in your product or service? Like, this is how we have to be thinking about it. But again, our business mindset, we're not wearing a business mindset. We're wearing our employee hat, or we're wearing our insecurities, or we're wearing our emotions, and we're making everything this emotional, insecure employee decision, as opposed to, this is a business decision. I need to effectively change the lives of 100 women at $100 per session. Do I want to try and reach women nationally, or do I just want to find 100 women who are in my own city? And it's which would, like, I mean, that's just a for example. So in the business mindset manual, I do break down other sort of details that you can pull from, but I just think that it's an amazing practice to set you up foundationally to be able to move out of the feast to famine cycle and build a meaningful business, for you to select a target market that's 7 layers deep, and for that target market to be a good target market, which ultimately means that they are willing, they're able to pay for the business solution that you provide. So that is what I have for you guys today. I do want to answer your questions, so I'm going to pop off, and then I'm going to pop back on to answer any of the questions that you may have about business mindset or target market. So I will be back